Grace.
And I'm Haley, and today we are going to be talking about stage management.
Now, we have both had our fair share of stage management experiences, both being stage manager and assistant stage manager. Haley is actually currently stage managing a show right now, so we have a lot to tell you and a lot of tips to give.
So this is a prompt script. This has everything that you need to prepare before the show in it.
Yeah.
Like.
So, obviously you can see mine is a 3-inch binder.
Mine is 2 inches.
Yeah, so it really is up to you. I just like to have a lot of extra space. You can see all my papers in here. So, what it's gonna look like when you open it up, you're gonna have a lot of dividers, and I'm actually gonna go through those with you so that you can set up your prompt script too. So the first divider is going to be your cast, which is where you're gonna have your cast list, your contact sheet, and like your sign-in sheets and audition sheets and all the stuff that you think pertains to cast. And then after that, you're gonna have your schedule tab, which is where you're gonna have your rehearsal schedule. And then you're going to have your script tab, which is where you will keep the entire script along with your blocking notes, which we will talk about. And then after that, you're going to have all of your technical elements. So you're gonna have set with the drawing of the set on there. You're gonna have lights, costumes, sound, props, and then you're gonna have one for publicity where you can put in the publicity photos and production photos so you can have something to show when you are going to show your prompt script at an interview or something. You're gonna have a reports tab for all of your rehearsal reports and your production meeting reports, a meetings tab, and then a miscellaneous tab just for like extra things that don't fit in anywhere. And you also want to make sure you have a bunch of just like lined notebook paper just so you can take little notes during rehearsal in case you think of something that you want to tell the cast.
Another part of the prompt script that is essential is the blocking notes sheets. This is where you track where every single person on stage is at any given point in time, where and when they exit, etc. And in your script, you put one page next to each page of like dialogue or music, so you can keep track of where everyone is. So you need to hole punch a little bit funny. If you hole punch on the opposite side, they can lay down next to each other in your script.
Now this depends on if you're right-handed or left-handed, so make sure you're hole punching the right way. It's a little confusing, I still don't fully get it, so just take your time. One of the most important things that a stage manager does is they copy down the blocking as the director is giving it to the cast so that if someone misses rehearsal or they're just confused about their blocking, they can go to the stage manager and answer those questions. So, like we said earlier, your script is kind of hole punched a little weird. So on this side, I have the script, and on this side, I have my blocking. And so you can kind of see it might be a little hard. Over here, it has letters going all the way down. It's like A to T. And next to A, I'll have blocking. So I have like my cast members' initials, enter, upstage, left. And so then I'll take A and put it over here, and I'll put A and circle it so that I know that that's when that blocking happens, and then so on and so forth.
Another thing that the stage management team gets to keep track of during rehearsals are line notes. This is when the cast goes off script. You keep track of how many lines they miss so that they can look back at them later and fix it and learn them correctly. So on this little sheet of paper, you write down the actor who missed the line, the page they missed it on, a snippet of the line so they know which one it was, and like what they did to it, which could be they dropped the line, they paraphrased it, they jumped their cue, etc.
So now we are going to get into Tech Week. Now, Tech Week is a really busy time for a stage manager because this is when they start taking over the show themselves. So the first really important thing for a stage manager going into Tech Week is paper tech. Now, paper tech is when you meet with the light designer, the sound designer, anyone that has cues that need to be called in the show. You meet with them and you are basically just gonna put all of the cues in your script and they can answer any questions you have. And now these cues might change after cue to cue and all of that, but these are just what you're gonna call first time. So I have some examples right here. So as you can see, I have light cue 29 and it goes right next to this line. And so that's when I would call that and I would just say light cue 29 go. Now you're also gonna wanna write down your standbys. So when you say standby, so this one is standby light cue 30, that is when your light board operator knows that they need to be ready and have their finger on the button. So you're gonna say standby light cue 30, and then when you get to the part where you need to call the cue, you're gonna say light cue 30 go, and they will hit the button.
The next essential of Tech Week is cue to cue, which is a day where everyone comes in and basically you're in charge of the rehearsal and you start running every single cue in your book to make sure that it all works out. This includes, for the show that I'm currently stage managing, even drops flying in and out using the fly system and light cues going at the same time. So it's all a little messy, and scene changes, so it's really to perfect that process of the lights, the scene changes, the drops all happening at once.
Yes, and this is the first time that the designers and the cast and everyone are going to see any of the technical elements. So it's a really important day and it can be very stressful, but it is your day, so make it great. Okay, so another thing that we usually do in Tech Week, this can be done at any point throughout the process, but we usually do it the Wednesday of Tech Week, which also happens to be today. So we're doing production photos today. But basically this means we have a photographer coming in and all of the cast are gonna be in their costumes, and we have specific moments in the show that we want to capture on camera to advertise for the show and have our cast remember the show. So I actually have an example of a production photo list here, and I, as the stage manager, actually got this list early, and I put what light cue we needed to be in for each picture so that it could run smoother and we could get through the pictures really fast.
One of the recent developments of a nightmare that a stage manager might experience is the precautions that we have to take concerning COVID. So some of the things we do to make our rehearsal space a safe environment is we take temperatures and keep track of everyone who has had their temperature taken on a sheet of paper, so we know that everyone's okay. If their temperature's too high, they don't need to be at rehearsal. And then we do all of our rehearsals in masks. The masks do come off for our performances, but that is right before the actor steps on the stage, and as soon as they step off the stage, they put their mask back on.
So this is not a problem that all stage managers are going to come across, but we are currently dealing with this obstacle, so we wanted to share it with you. Our booth that our stage manager and lightboard op and soundboard op are supposed to be in during a show is currently unable to be used. So Haley, as the stage manager for this show, has to be backstage. She's actually stage right, and she has a little monitor that she gets to watch the show on, and that's where she calls her cues from. And then I'm actually the lightboard op for this show, and I am stage left, the opposite side of the stage from Haley, on headset, and I do the cues from over there.
Another issue that we've run into because of COVID this time is the orchestra can't be in the pit where they normally are. So our solution is the orchestra is playing in our black box theater. So our sound person Charles has connected the sound from the orchestra in the black box and blended it with the singers on the main stage so that they all sound really pretty coming out into the audience. But that is something hard that we've had to deal with because normally the actors can see the conductor right there in front of them giving them cues, and now they get to watch his video on a screen out in the audience, which is a little different, but they've all been dealing very, very well with it.
Yeah. So it's kind of like we have live music, but it's also kind of like we have canned music. So we wanted to give you some tips for your upcoming stage management experiences so that you can absolutely kill it in there. So my first tip is be in charge. In a high school or a college setting, most likely the cast and crew are going to be your friends and maybe some of your closest friends too. But one really big thing to know is that you are still in charge. In a professional world, you are actually over the director. So obviously in a school setting, like maybe listen to your director first, but you are in charge. So you need to make sure you kind of like lay down the law and let the cast and the crew know that they need to listen to you because you know what's best.
Another tip, don't be afraid to ask questions. You need to know all that you can know to make sure that this process runs smoothly. And if you need to ask about something that you didn't know before in order to get there, then that is what you need to do.
My final tip is be respectful. We all know the old saying, treat others how you want to be treated, and I feel like that is a really big rule for stage management. You are in charge and you should be able to lay down the law, but you also want to make sure that you are respecting your cast and your crew so that they will respect you and they will listen to you. You want to make sure that you're kind of working with everyone. Your director is on your side, so don't be afraid to like work with them, ask as many questions as possible, because they are on your side and the whole cast and crew are on your side. So just make sure that like you create a good environment for everyone so that it will be a good experience. I hope all of our tips and tricks have helped you out.
Now go out there and stage manage.
Bye! Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button down below and hit that bell so you'll get a notification every time we post.
And if you have any questions or comments or video suggestions, please put them in the comments. Thank you.